Hello, racing fans. Welcome back to our weekly review of all the racing over the course of the last 7 days or so. There wasn't an awful lot of action during the week, but plenty over the course of the weekend. So we're going to review all of that with a view to the Cheltenham markets for the festival in March. But first of all, Mr. Wrenn, how are you?
Good. Great weekend punting. Probably the best punting, Liam, all jokes aside, I've had in a very long time. Everything seemed to go right for me. Um, Even messing around back in that O'Connell on Saturday evening after a few beers. It was fantastic. What a day. It was one of the best days I had in a long time. And Sunday was even better. I had a great day Sunday as well. Gordon Elliott, who is, I have to admit, my favourite trainer. Bar.
Not Charles Burns.
Well, I didn't want to mention them, but they are really. But I just like my proper trainer. If I put it out here, is Gordon Elliott. It always will be Gordon Elliott. But no, all jokes aside, it was a great weekend. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Well, I'm really happy for you. I could do borrowing a fiver, to be honest, Jay, because mine was
We'll
polar opposite.
we'll suss that out soon.
My weekend, wow, the last week or so has been absolutely terrible. Joe, has it been any better for yourself, mate?
Yeah, because mine was sort of the week prior, wasn't it? I came on and I said I had an awful weekend of punting.
Mm.
I kept it simple this week, Liam. I had 3 point win on Etait Temps, and then my Discord members we actually topped up again another point. Just thought he was an absolute certainty, and he got the job done, didn't he? And I was quite happy to one big bet, take my profit, and move on. Yeah, so I was glad about that. Glad about that.
No, absolutely. Cool. We'll crack on into it then, lads. We're going to start with the Beecher and the fact Mr. Van Gogh obviously was beaten a short head by Twig. What do we make of the race in of itself? Did we actually think that it was right to go to a stewards? Can you see either of these towards those that were all at the business end lining up and being competitive in a Grand National? Joe, we'll start with you.
I didn't really see the requirement for the steward's inquiry myself, but I don't know if I'm in the minority there, maybe. I didn't really feel that the interference was worthy, but I can imagine obviously people that were on Mr. Vanga wanted to hear the do do. I don't see the relevance. I don't see why it should have been a steward's inquiry myself. You just get on with it, aren't you? It's just one of those things. Nothing really to mention on it, Liam. I think a big deal was made out of nothing, to be honest.
And do you think any of these have got chances at Aintree in April?
No, Twig certainly hasn't. That was his big day there. He's not handicapped to do so anymore. Mr. Van Gogh just ran another brilliant race, didn't he? But again, he's another one. He's really climbing the weight. But what he does do, he does just gallop and gallop. And, you'll find like a horse will be away 3, 4 lengths and you think sort of game over. And next thing, just Van Gogh still galloping, galloping. And the gap just diminishes bit by bit by bit. So proper nice there. But look, let's be honest, in the modern day, it's going to be difficult to find a Grand National winner this side of the Irish Sea, in my opinion.
Yeah, it seems to go to basically graded horses in a handicap, doesn't it, over the course of the last few
Mm.
years? Jay, what did you make of it? Did you think that the kind of the stewards' inquiry was should have been called or not?
Yeah, I think it should have been. Yeah, I think he should have been thrown out. Not thrown out. I think he should have been placed second. The interference that look, people argue, Liam, that it's too far out. It's the elbow. It's a long run in. I understand it, but he did bump him. Really did bump him. Do you know what I mean? But see, a national race, see, if that was a flat race, he'd have definitely been demoted. Do you know what I mean? I'm not bringing up the flattery, but it's just too far out. I understand where people be upset if it was reversed. Um, I didn't back anything. They didn't bother me because my horse was nowhere. But it doesn't matter. I don't know. I feel agreed. If I was on the Van Gogh, yeah, I would have slightly now, not 100%. But no, I think they're on about this. Whatever. Number one, now this is another rule change to do that. The beater chase is like if you win it, then you go on to win the bonus. Like Twington might not even get into the Grand National. Do you know what I mean? They're going to have to do something with. I understand the initiative is brilliant, but they need to do something with the race to entice people over from Ireland to come over and say, hold on, we want to run a beater chase, then there's the bonus. Like, those horses have no chance in the Grand National. Exactly what Joe said. He took the words what I exactly was going to say. The Grand National is going to graded horses now, who are high in the handicap. And that's just the way it is now. It's for the top trainers, the top owners, It's a pity. I understand that part for die-hard National Hunt fans because they probably need to do something about that. But look, it is the way it is now. I Yeah, they have no chance in Grand Nationals, unfortunately, and that's just, years ago they would have, because Mr. Van Gogh would probably be towards the bottom of it. He's going to get in, but this time, you couldn't be backing him in the Grand Nationals now. He's too slow. No offense to him, like a good ground entry, he'd be lapped, and
Cooks, yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
he'd be lapped.
Yeah.
But no, Willie Mullins and as the winner probably again of the Grand National at this moment.
I suppose of yesteryear, these horses would be considered potential Grand National winners.
Yeah.
But now
Definitely.
they're going to line up in things like the Welsh National, the Ida at Newcastle,
Midlands.
those sort of Midlands National, Uttoxeter,
Right,
those sort of races, aren't they?
Nice to hear that Panic Attack is being targeted at the Grand National, by the way. I heard that came out today. I thought that was pretty cool. They mentioned that the Mare's Chase isn't the priority now, but she will have another run in between now and the Grand National. But again, we're talking about how hard it is to win the Grand National. But if she, by some quirk of fate, manages to pull off the feat, she could, by the end of the season, have the Paddy Power Gold Cup, the Coral Gold Cup, or the Hennessy, whatever, the Mare's Chase, and the Grand
Season,
National.
that isn't it?
It'd be something, wouldn't it? But just before I forget as well, I just wanted to mention I don't think there would have been any question about a steward's inquiry for that jump earlier on in the race if neither of those two were fighting it out in the finish. I know that's sort of obvious, but I think if they were fighting for third, fourth, fifth, sixth position, no one would have batted an eyelid. I think it's been quite soft and tried to find a way out of having a loser really more than anything.
I think I actually sit in the same opinion as Jaime is. I thought that he was pushed quite wide and consistently and had to basically cover more ground to try and come around him. But look,
Did the jockey did he have his whip in the right hand? I can't even remember. Did he have it in his left, or was he, was he being pulled and not
I
really?
think it was the stutter across at the elbow, right at the corner of the elbow, and he really bumped Van Gogh and took him off his stride. Do you know what I mean? And he had to. I look. Hindsight.
Jaime, do you think the margin of interference was bigger than the margin of victory?
That's
so
fair.
had the interference not occurred, would he have won?
Oh, if there was no interference, he would have won.
I agree with you.
Yeah, see, that is fair.
Don't you disagree?
I can't disagree with that. That is a fair point, isn't it? Like it's like it definitely caused. But I'm sure if we analyze every single race like that, we'd pick a hole to gain or lose a length. We just do. That's what we do as punters when we have a losing bet. Like I said, if it was for second, third, fourth, or fifth, I don't think
no one would have cared. No one would have cared.
But no one would have at all. Fair enough. We'll skip on because there was definitely so much better action over the course of the last week. Car Geese, everyone was so excited about her going chasing, people quoting her for the Arkle. Obviously, she was sent off. Odds On was beaten by Carla Conti, who was one that Jaime could not have any piece of when he downed the other Mullins mare on her chase debut. Jaime, are you a little bit more impressed with Carla Conti? What did you make of Cargise's chase debut? And I suppose the mare's chase market overall?
If they ran over 2 miles again on better ground, the result the weekend, what did Carla Conti win by 15, 16 lengths, I think?
16,
yeah. Put it on better ground. Cargisi would be...
She wins by 10.
No, she win by 16 and 20. Yeah. It's her first run game. She was beaten last year by Take No Chances in Ascot. She pulled the hands out of Paul Townend. The ground was goodish for Ascot, and it usually is Ascot, in fairness to him. But it was just good that day on December. It was the same day as next week's long walk at Ascot. Cataconti's making hay when the sun shines, but the only thing is that Cataconti's now 1/2. I'm 1/2.5 miles. So she's definitely a mare's chase player. She's probably improved her fences. There's no doubt about that. Would I have her in a conversation for mare's chase? Maybe. You don't know, because the other side of it is that she can go 2 mile pace. But look, Liam, look. If you were ever at Cork, you stand there, and on the right hand side, the river was nearly coming at the fourth last fence, and that'll tell you how bad the ground was. If the river Blackwater, it's called in Cork, in Mallow, that was nearly on the track, and Mallow floods like Worcester does, for example. So that'll tell you how bad the ground was. She's making hay where the sun shines till a proper Willie Mullins mares comes out. But look, you can't discredit her. She's ran well. I presume the ultimate target is a mare's chase. She's not without a chance because she's handicap form and she's used to going at a good pace. So if they go good pace in a mare's chase, it's like panic attack. Not without a chance. And there seems to be a lot of no offense to mare's chase, and I'm an awful cribber of the race. There seems to be a lot of contenders for it this year. There's a lot of horses that are going to end up there, and I hate to whatever say on your chips, but you could end up the horse in your Arkle horse could end up there too. And that's no offence to you, and fair play to your great pick in the Arkle, but it could be a deep race this year.
Well, it won't be that good if she doesn't turn up, will it?
Yeah, that's true.
And I think
but yeah, she's in that. Gordon Yellow's making hay with the sun shines at the moment because, look, no offence to him, Willie Mullins' season starts on the 26th of December at Leopardstown, the first maiden hurdle. That's just him now.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Joe, what did you make of it? And also, what would you be doing with Cargeese now? Are you a little bit of a similar mind or opinion as Jaime is? Just draw a line through her first run of the season.
I mean, she's just keen as you like, isn't she? And the problem is if you try and rein in a horse that is as fast as she is on their first attempt over fences.
Is it just the freshness, Joe, or is she just keen?
No, she's just keen all the time. That's basically why she was such a certainty in the county, because they thought, cool, we can just let her go now from the front. No one's going to catch us. We're too fast. Because it is a speed race. It doesn't benefit like sort of 2.5 milers or anything. To win like a county, you need pure speed, and the thing is, you can say Carla Conti was good, and she was, but we know Cargese is better than what she showed this weekend. Obviously, she didn't jump well, so massively underperformed. But I think the winning distance and the credit maybe that Carla Conti is going to receive might just be too much. Cargese had her in her back pocket last season, and so I wouldn't see that as her true running. But I would be concerned about what to do with Cargese. I'd like to give her another chance over fences, but they have to let her go. Otherwise, it's always going to be a struggle. She's not a 2.5 miler; she's a 2 miler as well. So she's an Arkle horse, or you go back over hurdles. And yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. Jay DeGruge didn't jump well. Cargese didn't jump well. Got a little bit to prove now, haven't they? Both of them.
If Cargese doesn't runs in the Arkle, Liam, and she runs well, I think that they might skip Punchestown, and my God, if they leave her off in the 2 mile race at the one Caliph de Burley one last year in the entry, then no horse would catch her. So
she'd be better there as well. Anyway, wouldn't she on a flat?
Yeah, that's the target. I know she won a county, but it's different at Cheltenham. It's sharper 2 miles where it was kind of a stair test, and she got the run of the race, and Paul Townend gave her a great ride. But my God, if you left her off, like they used to do with Dysart Dynamo, she stays kind of better than Dysart Dynamo. She'd be way better. And that 2 mile in the entries, after the last day, I thought, oh my God, if she runs in that 2 mile at the entry, I'd be all over.
One of the old cliches that was always thrown around is, well, he or she is a spring horse. Is she a little bit of a throwback to that? And she's far better in the spring than she is in the early part of the season?
I think she needs better ground. She needs better ground.
She has won on soft, but it wasn't like her best performance. We didn't see her best until really was the county hurdle. I know she's beaten handicappers, but she's beaten good handicappers, and she did show her class as a mare. Like she's a top quality animal. It's just where do you place her now? What do you do? Do you stick over fences? Are you gonna revert? There's loads of questions to be asked. So we definitely didn't learn anything from her, other than we know she's better than what we've seen. But how'd you get that out of her when she's so keen?
No, fair enough.
It's tough.
Fair enough. We'll skip on an exciting division, and I think a few were boom and a few were bust over the last few weeks in terms of their credentials in the novice hurdle division. My Daddy Paddy, top price 11-2. However, hopefully a few are holding nice tickets due to Mr. Wrenn, around about 25s, if not bigger. I thought was impressive. Yes, he's got to come forward. Yes, he's got to compete in graded company. But Jaime, obviously, I know you've always been a fan, so I'll come to you first. My Daddy Paddy earlier in the week, just a 3-runner race. What did you make of it? Is he too short?
Oh, way too short name. Way too
Mm.
short. For what the evidence said, like this reminds me like of like remember years ago about the Jericho the weapon, eh? Like, do you know what I mean? Like you're getting
Seven
vibes of that
two.
already, aren't you? You really are. But look, the only good thing about it is that when you like, do you know, when you asked him there's loads there. Do you know what I mean? I will say a slight thing is that I really like the other horse to the McManus of Harry Lowe's, and he was beaten last week under a penalty in Marker Raisin. And I suppose the other side of that is that I thought when Skelton was interviewed afterwards that I think at the start of last season, sorry, when he won at Huntington, sorry, that Skelton thought this horse is a Turner's horse, not a Supreme. And Dermot Hanifin had obviously had since Internationals won a Supreme under for Donald McCain and Jace Maguire. I think he just said, I want another Supreme horse. I want to win it again. And Harry Lowes looks like he's a 2 miler, not a 2.5 miler. So that's slight alarm bells for me straight away. Slight alarm bells. Now he's very talented, but you won't learn till the form be on St. Stephen's Day Boxing Day. You see how good he is, because a couple of horses could turn up there and hopefully it'll be a deep race. But if it's not a deep race, he'll probably win. But if it is a deep enough race for the UK, we'll see how good he is then. But there's still, I name as well, like there's still no offense, like, and I hope he wins. It'd be great. But there's still loads to come from Willie Mullins at Christmas at Leopardstown.
Yeah, it would be nice if some of the British trainers were
Yeah,
giving Willie,
100%. I
Willie a
totally
bit,
agree with you.
bit of competition when it comes
Mhm.
to Cheltenham.
Mhm.
Um, Joe, two questions. What is like? I suppose. What do you make of My Daddy Paddy? I know we've only really seen him beating horses of a much less caliber. And secondly, do you think he goes off a bigger price than the current General 5-1 than he is now on the day, or shorter?
Yeah, look, he's a horse I'd never believed the hype with at all. But you've got to start to now because he's been really impressive. And to be fair, the two horses that he beat this week, they weren't mugs like, they're probably going to be horses that are going to be 130s, 140s themselves, I'd imagine. So I think you've got to start to respect. He's very quick. He's really quick and he's a pretty good jumper. So there's no reason not to get excited about him. Obviously, I've missed the prices that sort of Jamie's on. I haven't got anything on him now, and I'm not gonna back him. But look, like we said, like Willie Mullins horses haven't even come out of their box yet. We don't even know what the crack is. So I'm
We
not
don't
going to
even
be
know their
taking.
names, do we?
Well, exactly. That's the thing. That's the thing. There's just so much to prove. It's not that easy winning the Supreme, and you look back to sort of Constitution Hill, Marine Nationale, some like proper top quality animals. Is My Daddy Paddy one of those? I don't see it just yet, but we're gonna find out soon enough. And like he fully deserves to be in the conversation, doesn't he? But I can't tell anyone to back him at 5-1. It's hard to put you off without any sort of rivals to compare him to at the moment. At the same time, so um, yeah, look, maybe he'll go off bigger. Yeah, maybe he'll go off a bigger price.
Yeah, I don't think that you'd be wrong in saying that. From one who perhaps kind of enhanced his credentials to one who definitely didn't, I was really looking forward to watching Sober Glory at Newbury.
Mm,
Um, I don't think this was really in the plan. Maybe he was working really well at home, and they felt they had to get him to the racecourse. But they'd already name checked by the Tolworth, obviously formerly the Tolworth, now the Formby at Aintree. I didn't expect to see him until Boxing Day. He's turned up here and yeah, just a bit sad to see, really. I was really excited. Perhaps you can always put a line through one run, but obviously also we best touch on the winner, Hurricane Pat. Gary and Josh Moore had a treble, didn't they, on the Friday, and then had a really impressive winner in the first on Saturday. Joe, I'll stick with you. What did you make of Sober Glory? Were you also very disappointed? And what
yeah,
did you
yeah.
think of the performance from Hurricane Pat?
Yeah, really disappointed with Sober Glory because I want Hobbsy to have like a good year. I thought Sober Glory, like you said, was going to be a sort of shallow horse. They've got Starzand as well, though, obviously, which opens up the race a little bit. So I mean, they could send Starzand to the Challow, and I don't know what they're going to do with Sober Glory next. I don't know if anything came up after the race as well, but he just looked really flat. Didn't jump well, did he? Hurricane Pat, he wouldn't be in my mind for any of these novice hurdles, but maybe keep him on side for something like the Betfair hurdle, or I think it's even the William Hill hurdle now. Later on
Yes,
in the
yeah, yeah.
season, he'd be a horse for that, just full of speed. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't have any of these on my mind for the future. Really disappointed with Sober Glory though. It's a big shame, but at the same time, they are doing a little bit of a potter's charm with him and sort of getting him out quite quick and Um, yeah, look, Liam, he's just another that's got a lot to prove now. It's a British novice hurdle that's not going to be competing at the top level at Cheltenham after that.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. He's got all the form lines, sober glory, in terms of beating some decent horses in
Hmm.
bumpers and obviously hacked up at Chepstow. Jamie, what did you make of it? Are you happy just to draw a line through it, or did you find the performance a little bit rancid? And again, obviously touch on the winner because we best had to.
I'm very disappointed with him, Liam. Very disappointed. I thought he was better than that. But the only thing is, I did watch back his replay. Look, I'm not speaking out of my whatever, but I did watch back the race at Chepstow. He was all over the place. Like, Ben Jones was trying to hang on to him. He looked an awkward ride. Cobden didn't know what to do with the weekend. Didn't know go forward, back, whatever. But Hurricane Pat on the eye looked very good. I see Josh Moore say that if there was the old Talbot that should be never touched, shouldn't touch races. Especially don't touch races and put him to Aintree in the middle of Christmas, right? The Talbot though has suffered obviously over the years with 3-4 runner races. I understand that part, but he said if the old Talbot was there, we'd come back here. You can see he can go up a hill. The ground was soft enough. He probably would need it that soft when it would be even in a conversation with a Supreme. I will say that, but visually on the eye, he's just as good looking on the eye as my daddy Paddy at this present moment in time in Britain. But we haven't seen any Irish horse yet really to put his name in the hat. So look, at the moment, my Daddy Paddy and Hurricane Pat are the best two. He might turn up for the form against my Daddy Paddy. You never know. They should go for it and see how good he is. But look, that's for me not to say. But at the moment, they are. And look, we'll see what comes. The water comes under the bridge yet. What comes out of Ireland, because I haven't seen nothing in Ireland yet.
No, definitely. And hopefully we'll be able to see a little bit more with our own eyes this year at Aintree than we could last year, because
Yeah.
Aintree, Chepstow couldn't see a thing through the fog, could we?
Mm-hmm.
For a couple of days of racing. I'll group these two together. Joe, I'll come back to you. Which was the better performance and which do you think will go on to be the better horse? Dr. Steinberg or Saint Baco? Balco? Baco.
I think they're two different horses. I think they're two different horses. Dr. Steinberg was really impressive, actually. I like the fact that they started rousting him up a fair way out. They sort of said, "Come on, get yourself to the." He hit the front. They asked him to. He was asked quite vigorously to pick up the pace, but he did, and then he was asked again, and he did, and he was asked again, and he did, sort of thing. And I like the way he jumped. I think he's a really nice horse. Maybe something for the 2.5 miler, perhaps. I definitely keep him on your radar for now.
Do you not think he's all stamina, mate, and Albert Bartlett would be the more likely route?
I don't think so, but I'm a bit of a pedigree dummy, aren't I? So the Dr. Dinos for me don't look like they're going to be able to get 3 miles ever,
Mm,
personally. So
okay.
I'd say he's bred to be a 2 miler, but he travelled and moved like a 2.5 miler. And I'll side with my eyes and say that the further he went, the better he got. But the fact that when they asked him to wind up and sort of find a turn of foot, he did. He probably does still have 2 mile speed, but he just got better and better. Really good ride, considering a lot of Willie Mullins horses got turned over at the weekend. So Bacco, I want to see again. I can't weigh it up. There's nothing really to compare it to, but he's clearly a nice animal. But Dr. Steinberg would be like the one for the notebook, if you ask me.
Yeah, I was quite impressed, and also he got a little bit of encouragement from the whip from Danny Mullins. Just kind of
Mm,
picked up and just went again. And I think,
yeah,
as you kind of mentioned, Joe, not that he was running in snatches, but he just did like pick up and just provide a bit more every
yeah,
time he was
yeah.
kind of encouraged and asked to do so.
Mm.
I thought
He,
that was the better performance of the two. Sorry, go on, mate.
No, sorry, I was just thinking on the whole Dr. Dino thing. There's another horse, obviously Dr. Dumanil. He's been sort of quite highly spoken about for the Turners. Like again, all these Dr. Dinos generally have speed over 2 miles. But he's another one actually, just sort of off the top of my head. They're both Dr. Dinos, but both look like they're going to do better over the middle distance. Obviously, you need a bit of speed to do that anyway. So he's thrown his hat into the mix. Maybe see what you and Jamie think about St. Bako, because I struggle to weigh up that form for now. But he's obviously another nice one.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit of a daft question in truth, Jamie, that I posed to Joe, because obviously one's a graded race and the other's a maiden hurdle, but so it's probably hard to compare, especially given the fact that one looks like he wants further as opposed to the other. Did either of them kind of catch your eye though? Did you kind of get you off the sofa and think, oh, this thing's a proper horse, or is it just another Willie Mullins winner?
Yeah, there was not a hype about a race saying back or Wrenn in France. I got a few messages about it, alright, and saying this should win, but the price was rancid. But look, he did what he had to do, Liam, to be honest with you. I'd have to see him next time out to even judge him. Now, Dr. Steinberg was very good, I thought. Very good, because he's form on good ground and soft ground now. Ran before Fairy House. He's running Bad and Robe, like Bad and Robe. You could scream horses win at Cheltenham from Bad and Robe in the middle of the summer. He was fifth then behind a horse called Morat at the Galway Festival in a bumper, and was beaten very far. And him, point authority, running the race in this, hammered Morat in a maiden herd at Naas. And I think, no offence to KTTA boys, I think they missed a trick. They should have gone for the Royal Bond. I think, look, he finished lame, I understand that, but I think they went for the wrong race. I think they got bogged down the heavier ground. I know it was soft heavy at Naas, but that was 2 miles, this 2.5. I was disappointed with him. But look, Dr. Steinberg, exactly, Joe touched on a horse that is very much a hype horse now in Dr. de Menil. Could go for Turners and a Bartlett. Like the Devil You Know, was absolutely hammered by him in a 200 mile 3 bumper at Cork last year. The Devil You Know then beat Skylight Hustle, who won last week very impressively, obviously beaten not that much at Ferry House in Royal Bond weekend. And Gordon Ellie seems to like him a lot, and he's going as well to the 2 mile novice at Christmas. So the form line looks strong enough. So, but Dr. Steinberg, I know what Joe is he's saying, going on pedigrees, but Dr. Steinberg looks to me an Albert Bartlett horse all day. It looks like he's going to stay all day. Yeah.
Would the 16-1 float your boat then, Jamie?
No. He's good, but no, not for me.
Feels like it's not quite enough, isn't it? It's just like
not quite
borderline,
enough,
maybe.
Yeah,
but he seems to be improving with racing, which is dangerous when it comes to winning one horse. Yeah,
it's just like when they keep finding and find. I love watching horses like that. They love it, they love it themselves. So
could almost see him like in real time, kind of learning on the job.
Exactly. Yeah. And that generally tells you there's more to come as well, because they're like, oh, I see what I'm meant to be doing. And
definitely, yeah. When he hit the front as well, he kind of went away and started to learn his job. Yeah. I agree completely. We'll probably move on to. I'm not sure if it was the most impressive. I think it might have been. It's definitely been one of the most impressive novices we've seen this season, and that's just because we've seen this horse more frequently than others. And you probably wouldn't usually say that about a horse that lives in Ditcheat, but no drama this end. Won on Friday at Sandown. Harry Cobden looking through his legs, very stylish, a little bit cocky. What was he beating? Even though the fact it was a grade 2. But this horse does look really smart. Joe, Challow, is that on the cards? Then skip Cheltenham Aintree. Is that standard MO?
No, get him to the Challow and then get him to Cheltenham. I love this performance actually. He's come out and been impressive twice now as well, and he's looked really straightforward doing so. It's not like there's any quirks to him. Obviously, he came from way behind to win at Cheltenham. But what I liked about this performance more than anything is that he was amongst a fair amount of decent horses. And even though he was there on the inside, he had, two horses to his left. He sort of had one sort of by his back hinds. He had one straight behind him. And even though they're all being ridden quite vigorously and there's a lot of animation going on with the jockeys, he's just sat there. And I like that because it didn't bother the horse as well as the jockey. Like, he's just like, oh, well, I'm quite happy doing what I'm doing here. And then when he was asked to go and win the race, off he went, sort of thing. So he's really straightforward and he has to now be in the conversation for some big races. You don't want to back him at 13-2, mind, for Cheltenham. That's way too short at the moment. He's obviously got to go on and win the Challow first, which I think he will. He's a really impressive horse. But he has to win that Challow to be considered. What's also worth noting as well, if you look at the betting for the Turners, you've got Love Me Tender. He was obviously favourite for the Royal Bond and didn't run. But you could take your chance at him at 16-1, knowing that he was probably going to go off really short for that Royal Bond. Or you could back No Drama this end, who's still got to go and win the Challow. I just think Love Me Tender will get an easier route right now. you just can't back No Drama in the Send until he wins that Challow, because if he doesn't, he's a 16, 20 to 1 shot again, sort of thing. So, but I love the performance. He's really likable, and he enjoys it himself, and I think that's a big old bonus. He knows what he's doing.
No, definitely. I imagine he's probably the apple of Harry Cobden's eye, thinking potentially this horse is one of the
Mm.
proper ones that we've got
And he's done
coming
it
through
right-handed now as
Rangers.
well. He's done it left-handed, right-handed, whatever. He's so chilled. Love it. Love him.
Yeah. No, really good performance. Jamie, I imagine you just concur with everything that Joe said, don't you?
Yeah. Would I be in a rush to back him at that price for turners? No, Liam. I thought he was better on his debut, like better at Cheltenham. I thought he beat Nottingham the weekend. And no offence to the horses behind. Look, they'll win races. There's no doubt about that. But like reversing the form, who was second in the bumper, heads up. King's Bucks, who's well regarded in Henry's Bromhead, is definitely a horse to follow in handicaps. And look, the horse he beat by 46 lengths, great field, won a maiden hurling Kelso, which form is stacking up. Skelton has another horse in that race who ran in that race at Cheltenham, Money Garrow, who's fantastically well handicapped for a big race in the spring. So
I think most that are owned by the owners of those
yeah,
colours
100%.
are
I totally,
fantastically well
yeah,
handicapped.
fantastic, well handicapped, yeah. Which is great for No Drama to Zen, and like if he runs well into turners. Is he at the moment my winner? No. Will I see him in the first three? Yeah.
But
Yeah,
is
I
he?
will say.
No, surely currently he is your winner, Jamie.
No,
But the
he's
only
not.
reason you're saying he's not, but I bet you can't name who the winner is.
Correct.
Well, there you are. So currently he would be your winner based on what we've seen.
But it's
No.
like that.
He's still not my winner. I still take him.
It's the same scenario with My Daddy Paddy, isn't it? You'd just be surprised if we don't see something better.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's not like
100%. Yeah.
not even to discredit the horse. It's just the price, timing of the season, the Challow still to come.
He. If I got a price for the Browns next season, I'd back him.
He's bloody lovely, honestly. Really nice, really nice.
He's a
horse.
future Gold Cup horse.
Mm.
I think that's probably one thing to consider over the course of the last few years. I would love to actually see how many runners from Paul Nicholls' yard have actually lined up in races at the festival and what the win percentage is, or if you bet to like level £1 stakes, I reckon you'd be well up, because you've had horses like Monmorale, Coldwell Potter. They only go when they've got a chance, don't they? Like it's even Paul Braveman's game, obviously the night when it absolutely thrashed it down, didn't it, with rain, and they'd water the day before and all of that. So I think it's very select few number go to the festival.
That
And maybe
Monmorale must
that's
have
an
been.
angle in.
But you know, actually, it's going off point piece a
Stage
small
Star,
bit.
another Turner's winner.
Yeah,
Stay away,
he just
Fade,
reminds
Bartlett.
he just
Yeah.
reminds me that he's going to finish third, something like that. He'll be there at the end, but he'll get caught for a turn of foot in that race, because he just he looks already better than Brave Man's game. There's no doubt that. And I know I'm talking about the same owner and Final Demand and all that, but he kind of just reminds me in that kind of. He's there at the moment, but whatever he does over hurdles is going to be a massive bonus, because he's a stamp of a top class stay and chaser, I think, Liam.
No, fair enough. Anything else to add, Joe? Or should we skip on?
No, all good, mate. Yeah, just love him. Love him.
Perfect. We had 4 runners in the Henry VIII Novices Chase at Sandown. I was there on the day. I backed, put a Be Aware Ante-Post at 5 to 1. Shrewd old me. He then was clipped into 9 to 2. So I went in again and tipped him for everyone to have a further point on. By the time the race started, he was 8s. So we got none of the value, and we certainly got none of the winnings. I did not fancy Lulamba over this trip. He was real good, I thought. I kept saying he's not Sergino 2.0 just because he's in the same ownership, same colours, and trained by the same trainer. He might not be as good as Sergino, but I don't think he's going to be far off, is he, Joe?
No, exactly. Look, I got him wrong as well, to be honest. Like I said, it's never that I've discredited him or said that he isn't a good horse. But what we saw this weekend was him saying, I am an Arkle horse.
Definitely.
Look what I've just done. But the other performance didn't. But I'm more than happy to say, well, look, now I know he's an Arkle horse. That's fine. I needed to see that for that confirmation. But I still think he'll get further in time. But this was really likable. This just changed my whole perception of him completely, because he sort of travelled well through the race. His jumping got better and better. Real smart move by Nico just before the home turn to go upside when I think was it Beware who made the error at that turn. Then he just cruised. It all fell into position where he could start sort of pressing the accelerator, and then he started jumping better. I loved what he did at the last. It was like he went, "Oh, I've got the hang of this now. I'm a bit cocky here," and he sort of jumped and did a flying kick to the right hand side with his hinds, as if to say, "I've got this job wrapped up," So really, really good to be honest, and that's what I needed to see to say, look, he's a Arkle contender. Obviously, the price is different now, but I'd rather back him now, knowing what I think he could be, because I hadn't seen anything or enough to suggest that he warranted being an Arkle favourite. But look, really good, and I owe him an apology. And I have done on Twitter as well.
No, absolutely. And I was kind of happy with my position on
Yeah,
July Flower.
I'm waiting for Firkin's apology too. Like,
if you let me speak, Jamie. I was quite happy with my position still on July Flower, thinking, well, there's literally one horse to beat, and he could overboil. We could boil over come the festival. There's a mistake potentially in him, not too dissimilar to last year's Arkle. Now there's two to beat, and two very, very good horses to beat. I was really impressed. He's evidently
don't forget Romeo Coolio. There's
3 miler all day long. He's a 3 miler.
All right, come on then, carry on.
Brilliant horse, but he's a 3 miler. I was really impressed with this performance. Obviously stung my pocket. I was more than happy to take him on. I thought it was really smart. Jamie, you mentioned in a group chat, I loved this comment because it's a horse that I think loads of people ended up adoring, a horse that everyone wanted to see up in trip and potentially could have been an Arkle and Gold Cup winner. Maybe Nicky's got one this year, but we won't touch on that too much. You said he's Shishkin 2.0.
100% he's Shishkin 2.0. He reminds
me.
Hate
all of these comparisons just because they're the same yard.
No.
Hate all of this stuff.
He's like, if Ting comes back, the other horse who's proven it already, named Sergino. Sergino's a 2 miler. And look, he is an out and out 2 miler. Where Lulamba is going to get better with age. He's only 5. Like he's still, he's only a 4-year-old. He's only a 4-year-old. So he'll be 5 in the Arkle. So yeah. Oh no, like he will be eventually better up and trip.
It's just class. It's just class.
He's just the cruising speed is class, yeah. And I think the quicker they go on the Arkle, the only thing in an Arkle with him, he'll have to jump a little bit better for me. That back end, I'd be worried about that. It's slightly more.
He's very exuberant, isn't it?
And the turn in that second last fence is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it is for every horse, but him, I'd be a little bit worried. But the engine is there. He oozes class. Like, if you want to be hypercritical, has he beaten just a bunch of handicappers there? But good handicappers.
Yeah, they're good, aren't they?
Who are actually going to win races and who have chances in a Grand Annular or Jack Richards. And those two horses would definitely be on my radar for it. I will say that. But I think he's quality. And I saw it last year, Liam, and not repeating myself, against Poineras when he reversed the form of Punchestown. I just saw it. They went a really good gallop, and he was in his comfort zone. And I was like, this horse is really good. And people are... The problem is, like, you know yourself, he was beaten by Poineras in the Triumph Hurl, and everyone like, do you know what I mean? And we all did. And I was one. I was like, But no, I just saw something at Punchestown last year. I said, this horse is really good. And and it's another one for Donnelly's and Henderson. So he's Sergino, Shishkin. He just reminds me of Shishkin, yeah, because I think he's a future King George winner, yeah.
In the sense he has the class to win over 2 miles, but he'd be even better potentially stepped up in trip.
King George winners of all times, Liam, are good 2 milers.
Like Arkle winners.
Yeah, like Arkle winners. Like Kicking King was second in Arkle to Well Chief. Well Chief went on to against Zerti up in Moscow Flower, and then all of a sudden Kicking King went up to the Gold Cup trip. It's kind of those more of a attrition runner than an Arkle won a gold. It's like all those horses.
I think
size, you like good horses have 2 mile pace. Do you know what I mean? Like to win big long 3 mile sprinters, and he just reminds me of Shishkin.
What did you say, Liam? We missed something, did we?
Yeah.
King George winners are those. Jamie said those that can win over 2 miles. I said like Arkle winners.
Django.
Yeah. He still won't beat the Arkle winner from the previous year.
Behave.
Right.
I'm not behaving.
Sorry, Joe. Go on.
Just quickly on that note, then with Lulamba and Kopek, where are we at right now? Or with Romeo? Because here's the thing as well. Sorry, just really quickly.
Go on, Joe. Go on.
Lulamba's a 4-year-old. 4 year old. 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 4 year old Kopech's a 5-year-old, or is he even a 5-year-old? I'm sure he's a 5-year-old. I think he's only a year older. Kopech looks bigger, stronger, more powerful, but Lulamba looks smaller, thinner, slicker, like a Django Bay. In all honesty, where
Kopech is
Majborough,
fine.
the big horse, really struggled
Hmm.
in the Arkle. Um, what was my other point? Ah, yeah. Also, I've got a feeling this will also not determine, but it will give a bit of food for thought as to why Sergino might stay over hurdles now and go for a champion hurdle. Because if Lulamba went and won the Arkle and then Sergino went to the champion chase and won that, they'd have to meet next year. And not that the Donnellys are scared of running their horses against each other, they've done it loads of times, but like they're not going to want to if they can then win a champion hurdle and a champion chase next year. Jesus, what a double
It,
that would be, wouldn't
it
it?
wouldn't surprise me. Sergino could be the first horse to run in open company at Cheltenham for the first time. So never running a
Mm.
novice race at Cheltenham
Yeah,
and
yeah.
win a champion hurdle and a champion chase. Because surely Lambo will go up in trip next season.
Well, I don't even know if he would go. I think if he won the Arkle, I just think I imagine that Nicky will just go Arkle champion chase like you generally
Yeah,
do,
yeah, yeah. And then
and
get found out in a champion chase maybe, and then
and
go up and
then
trip.
yeah, maybe what again
Perhaps,
like
yeah.
we can look at John Bond, can't we, and say well maybe he should have sort of nudged up a bit, up and trip a bit sooner and stuff like that. But I don't know. Yeah, interesting. I don't know who I'd be with at the moment. I don't know about you, Liam. Out of the three, if you had Kopech, Lulamba, and Romeo, because there's not a lot between them. There can't
I,
be.
no, I think long term, mate, I think Romeo could be a little bit special. I think as he matures, and I think he's definitely got the staying ability. I do just worry that he's caught between trips, mate.
Yeah,
That's my
possibly. Yeah.
that's my
Mm.
only worry. Um, Lamba looks good. He looks very good. I don't even want to think about it. I'm on July flower, aren't I?
Yeah, of course. Right. Yeah. No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Like,
I
it's
don't
good
want
that
to
we
think
could.
about how much money I've wasted, Joe.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, we could have a good Arkle. We could have a really good Arkle this year, and let's hope all three get there and just give us a proper race with class.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Mate, we'll stay at Sandown. Usually, I kind of try to save the best till last, but I think just given the fact it was on the same day and a couple of races later, Etait Temps, he was good, wasn't he? Very,
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
Again, I wanted to take on John Bon. I thought John Bon actually had a little bit more zest and he kind of bounced
Mm.
out and was a little bit more himself, really. Um, I was on load of sud. He disappointed. I think freshness is the key to him, and perhaps he catches a few of the others who will benefit from a run.
Mm.
He catches them off guard slightly. Um, Etait Temps, does he really like Cheltenham though, Joe? As much as impressive as he was, should he be favourite for the
Well,
champion chase?
well, you're not going to give much bigger price, are you, based on what you've seen? Because visually, he's just like, wow, you are brilliant, sort of thing. But at Cheltenham, he hasn't been. He's really struggled there every time, and I do think it's the undulations of the track. I mean, it's okay handling some undulating tracks, a little bit, but Cheltenham's a proper specialist track. It's like a Windsor, or like you really need to be a particular sort of horse to win there. So it does worry me. But if this was anywhere else in the country, England or Ireland, he'd be a huge, huge danger to Marine Nationale. The problem that they've all got is that Marine Nationale is absolutely a Cheltenham specialist. He bloody loves it there. It suits all of his attributes. But look, I really, really like Etait Temps. Like I said, I kept it simple this weekend, backed him heavily, and made a point that he dismantled John Bond last year. So not only did John Bond have to come back to form, he had to improve. And then if you go to the beginning of this season when we had sort of Paul Nichols on, he was saying like, the owners don't want to run Load of against Caliph de Burley because they knew Caliph de Burley was better. Obviously, that's turned out not to necessarily be the case,
Mm.
but I think that just tells you, is there any improvement in Load of I highly, highly doubt it. No. Horses can adapt and get better at racetracks on the road, but I just think Etait Temps is a horse that just doesn't like Cheltenham, and that's really unfortunate, basically. But look, I unloaded the bank balance on him this weekend. So even though he won at 10-11, it felt like I had a 5-1 winner, if you know what I mean. It was a good day, and he was absolutely superb. And he's probably the rightful favourite, second favourite with Marine. Yeah.
No, fair play, mate. And obviously, you had the courage of your own convictions to have a decent
Hmm.
old lump on him, advised to everybody else as well. So, yeah, nice winner for you, Jamie. What's your take on Etait Temps going, and particularly his form at Cheltenham? And would you be going anywhere near him? And also, just talk about the champion chase market as a whole, if you will. It's like it's a mess, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's a mess in a way, in a slight way, Liam. I kind of agree with you there. But um, look, form figures at Cheltenham 5-5, like fifth in the Triumph. It was only his second run for Willie Mullins. Fifth in obviously Marines Supreme. Third behind Gaelic Warrior and Found a 50. Don't look too bad in an article now. And when he was second to Gaelic Warrior, Limerick at Christmas, and I know the way you're thinking was third. Wasn't too bad, not too shabby, but I kind of agree with Joe. You'd have to see it at Cheltenham. But it's kind of, I kind of have a slight U-turn in a way that he's a different horse now and that he might go around Cheltenham. Sometimes that happens after the race. With obviously texting our group saying, "No, I can't have him at Cheltenham." And sometimes, when you're there in a year in the championship, this might be his year, kind of a thing. I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of horses in it. Liam, like Marine to come back. You have Will Horse. We'll get on to. I'm quite happy with my bet. It's a stabbing bet. We'll see what happens. Quixilius is like Joe, like was won a triumph, like Marine National runs right around Cheltenham, and you can't say that about Etait Temps at this present moment in time. So you have to see it to believe it. But if they all turn up, a horse that we mentioned, and Marine and all that, going on to the next point, if the three of them turn up at the DRF, there's only one winner, and that's Etait Temps, because his record on Leopardstown is impeccable as well. So.
Won the Irish Arkle there as well.
Won the Irish Arkle.
Yeah,
Broke my heart,
Beat Fast
Fast
Vega
Vega as
before
well, yeah.
Cheltenham that year. Like, do you know what I mean? So, look, he's rightful to have his price what he is now, and he's definitely a contender, but it's that niggling doubt, which is the killer. But look, you can't discredit him and what he's done, and you can't discount him either.
I did start looking at this race in preparation for our third episode of the Ante-Post series, and there are a couple huge prices that I would fancy. One of which I tipped last year, and I think I'll stay away from him. In fact, I'll say who it is Il Francais. I just think bounding out over 2 miles, going from the front at Cheltenham, I actually think that would suit him. I was absolutely gutted he ran in the Ryanair last year, but after the last day, I couldn't go near him.
Yeah.
I think he's absolutely gone now. I do.
Yeah, I think he's gone now too. Yeah, I do. Yeah, but
I'll
I agree with you, Liam. I agree with you. I was 100% with you. I thought if they ran him in the champion chase, he'd have got everyone off the bridle. Do you know what I mean?
I'll tell you what. Then I'll throw out the other one I was thinking of, because I don't think I'm going to tip it. So it's not really revealing anything. In fact, I'm definitely not. I know what I am.
What yard? What yard?
Changed. Oh no, it hasn't changed yet. It's changed ownership. Placed in a Grade 1 novice race last season, over this same course and distance.
Jesus Christ. Beats me, mate. Beats me.
Hold on. Oh, only by night.
Yes, Jamie. 33-1 for the
ran by the last day.
She will not stay. Surely she doesn't line up in the mare's chase. She just doesn't stay 2.5.
I think they will.
I know they've bought her for the mare's chase. Things happen, we know, but the wording was we have bought her for a mare's chase. Because the idea is that they think if Rob Core can get a nice mare, win a nice graded race, send her off to
first place
to the broodmare, to the broodmare shed, like she'll be worth loads of money. Like so that. But again, it doesn't always happen.
Actually, Joe. Actually, I forgot her. Sorry for cutting across it. She's another one for like the mare's chase is going to be about 10, 14 runners.
Could be a
crackerjack at the moment.
Yeah, but imagine if they all weren't in those races and they were all thrown into their respective divisions. You had July.
I agree.
Like over in the Ryanair in the championship.
Yeah. And to be fair to your point there, Liam, only by night could have ran in the mare's chase last year, but obviously different ownership and stuff. But just on the wording is that they want her for the mare's chase. But like you said, whether that comes to fruition or it's a completely different thing. But she's a very, very good horse, isn't she? Very, very good.
Yeah, and even better when a little bit fresher. And I just think if they just if she kind of had a decent break leading up to March, and again, they might start thinking, well, Majborough's vulnerable. We'll get onto him. Marine nationality. If he turned up soft, for example,
Yeah, screwed. He's done.
like it's anybody's game. And at 33-1, I was toying with it, and then I thought, well, that'll be 3 mares out of 3 tips.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Anyhow, we'll skip on then, lads, and we will start talking about those that are kind of entering. Well, some that are entering the open company over the course of 2 miles, and then those that want a little bit further. So Majborough. Joe, was it as bad as was made out? I started looking for a price for him for the champion chase, and I thought he'd been pushed out, and I saw he's been pushed out till 6 to 6s. I don't know why. In my head, I thought he was as big as 20s, and I wanted to get piling in, going back left-handed. He hasn't been pushed out anywhere near enough. What did you make of him?
Dreadful, mate.
Touch on. Oh, okay, go on.
Dreadful, absolutely. Yeah, at the beginning of the season, I put my neck on the line. I even did a post on Twitter, and I said, look, if you think that Majborough's jumping isn't going to improve, I said, you are far too naive. Well, perhaps it was me that was being far too naive, like just expecting him to jump better, because he hasn't. That was worse than anything he did last year. He was dreadful, absolutely dreadful. If anything, no, it's not even if anything, it was miles worse than last year. At the beginning of this,
what about if he changes track direction, Joe?
He's definitely
just as bad.
They definitely won't run him right-handed again. Jaime mentioned that in our group chat the other day, and I was like, yeah, you're spot on there. They're definitely not going to run him right-handed again. So I imagine it'll be a better proposition. He has to jump better. It was horrific. It was absolutely horrific. I made a point at the beginning of the season. I put up 2 tips for the champion chase. I put a Majborough 8-1, and then my boy Marine, obviously at 4-1. I said, if you back these 2, you're going to have the race covered, whether it comes up good to soft, or soft. I said, you're going to have it wrapped up, job done. Now, I couldn't think, I couldn't back him at double the price. Like, dreadful, Liam. He was dreadful. Never looked comfortable, looking round, didn't like being on his own. The jumping is woeful. It wasn't even like that he was taken off too early.
Have you seen enough, mate, of offence? Have you seen enough? Are you like...
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Getting back over hurdles?
I wouldn't chuck him back over hurdles.
No.
But my opinion with regards to where I thought he was going to be and what he is completely different. He's going to be one of these horses that's an enigma, huge engine. If you can't jump, you're never going to see the best of him. And unfortunately, that's where he sits for me now. Another like Lulamba. I like Lulamba now, but Madge, big U-turn. Couldn't have him for love nor money. He wouldn't stand a chance against Marine on good to soft. On that, he wouldn't stand a chance against Calixios on good to soft. With that, you have to jump slick to win champion chases. You've seen what happens if you don't with John Bon and plenty more. So, huge, biggest disappointment of the weekend for me, that was Majborough. So I was really looking forward to that. It just shows big horses doesn't mean they jump well. Tiger Roll was tiny and he was amazing over the big entry fences. Like so.
Etait Temps, as
couldn't have been,
mentioned.
couldn't have been more disappointed, mate. Honestly, really is. Yeah.
Jamie, is Joe being slightly harsh if he's going back the other way round? And obviously, it's not as exaggerated because he definitely shuffles left, doesn't he, on approach to each of his obstacles. Therefore, would he be seen to better effect? But also, he's got a massive engine, hasn't he? He's made, whenever he makes literally a race-ending mistake, like he did the second last this weekend,
coming back again,
he's still beaten by hardly any margin. It's mental. Jay, is Joe being too harsh, or is he completely right? Is he just can't jump?
Slightly harsh, yeah. Slightly, ever so slightly harsh. Look, I said it in the last week's pod. Wrong way around. He should have started where I found the 51 to Fortria, or even the Schlur, but with the head jump on. But I wasn't discredited. But as I said to you last week's pod, Liam, what was Mark Walsh doing after the fourth last? I'm like, what was he doing? Why was he coming up the centre of the track? Why didn't he go up the rail? The rail is there to help the horse. Do you know what I mean? I just didn't understand what he was doing. But at the start of it, you could see he was fresh, and you could see Mark Walsh's hands in the middle of the track. He's a hard ride. You can see he's a hard ride. Right? Last year in the Arkle, he thought he was home and hose. He jumped, it's obviously see everyone in your eyes that it was obviously a bad mistake. But I think Mark Walsh thought he was on an absolute super machine last year in the Arkle. He thought, this is not going to be beaten at all. So, but he's
Well,
actually.
wait, he wasn't wrong, Mark Walsh, was he? He just had to jump the second
I
last
know,
and
I
probably
understand
won
that,
for them.
but look, I think
But
he was too cocky on him. That's just me. Um, but he did it all wrong, Sonny. But I think Mullins sometimes doesn't like to be defeated where someone says he jumps too far left going right hand. Do you know what I mean? So Mullins go, hold on a minute, it doesn't matter, like what you say. Do you know what I mean? He wants to prove people wrong. I understand that part. He's the trainer at the end of the day. But after Punchestown last year, you could clearly see that he can't go right handed. So, I mean, like, when he turns up at Christmas, it's 2-1 Marine Nationale for the Paddy Power Rewards Club after having run all year since the champion chase. And Majborough's 9-4. I know who I'm backing. Do you know what I mean? And that's no offence to Marine Nationale, it's his first run. Where Majborough now has had the run, regardless of they both had a run. If Marine turned up in the Fortria and Majborough, obviously the hilly way the weekend, I still back Majborough at this time of year. I just would, and I wouldn't give up on him because if you look back at the race, Found the 50s ran in the 3 mile experiment and downride. He won the Fortria, that's 2 runs. And Majborough was still coming back at the end, even though he banked a couple of fence, took the birch out of the fort last. He was still coming back at him. So I wouldn't give up on him. No, 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 no. And I think the overreaction, what you're looking for, the overreaction in price, Liam, I understand where you're coming from, but I don't think it was ever going to happen because he came back and found a 50. So I
Yeah.
back found 50. I was obviously happy. I said him on the pod, but
I suppose
no,
I was living in cloud cuckoo land thinking that the reaction of increasing prices would be just the same as slashing them.
no. It's just he came back and it's his first round of the season. So I think he'll win at Christmas. I think he won't win it to DRF, but it'll be close between himself and Etait Temps. But if it's better ground at Cheltenham, Marine National will beat the two.
I know Joe wanted to come in. Jamie, just one question, one word answer, yes or no. Is there any way now Majborough going at a slightly more sedate pace goes up to the Ryanair and Factify comes back to the
No,
2 miles up?
that'll never happen.
Okay,
it'll make his jumping worse as well. This is the problem. He's got too much. He's just got too much thinking time. You need to let him go. He's got to learn because he's not a clever horse. He's a dumb un. He's a
Because
dumb horse.
Factify, if Factify wasn't such an absolute
nasty, nasty.
certainty in the Ryanair, there would be no switcheroo.
Honestly, Liam, I've gone from being such a supporter of his to even back
You're never this
anything.
dismissive after one run,
I
Joe.
know, I
You
know.
are angry with him, aren't you?
I am because I put my neck on the line for him and even put him in some sort of category with Marine Nationale Ante-Post punting. He's just been devastatingly bad. His jumping has got worse. It's not got better. Some horses just can't jump. He has not got a hope in hell when he comes up against Marine Nationale. Not a hope. Whatever ground. Can't jump, you
Fair
can't jump.
enough. Fair enough. We'll touch on just a couple of the old boys in that race very, very briefly. Energumene, 11-year-old, he's just
Done.
the racing's gone. Banbridge, I was really disappointed with his reappearance. He ran brilliantly in this last year. And I was waiting for him to run really poorly on soft ground in the hilly way. So I got a bigger price for the King George this
Hmm.
time last year. And he put in obviously a brilliant performance, was unseated at the last. He just, again, another one who just doesn't seem his old
Yeah.
self.
No, that wasn't his ground. They know exactly what they're doing now. After winning
Go
that,
on, Joe. What are they doing?
well, after winning the King George last year, it didn't matter what the ground was here. It was let's get him fit and we'll prime him for Boxing Day. Simple. No, nothing to gloss over there at all. It
No,
literally
nothing
wasn't
else.
his ground this weekend. He was never going to be piping for it. The
Would you give?
plan is Boxing Day, and I like him. I'm actually starting to warm to him a bit.
Oh, you give
Yeah,
him a chance, would
I
you?
do.
What's
Yeah,
today?
just
I
at the
like that.
prices, like he's 16-1 in
Just having a
comparison
look
to all of
for you
these other
now.
sort of like twos and fours and
No.
if a
Yeah,
repeat effort of last year, we'll put him in the first three. He's a good each way bet. Will he beat Gaelic Warrior? All things considered, no. Will he beat Django? Probably not.
thank you. Jesus,
But
we almost fell out then.
Bamber, I'll tell you, yeah, he's a good bet. He's a good bet for the each way punters. He's going to go there very, very fit. Good jumper.
I think he had his day last year.
He might well have done, mate. He might well.
Hmm.
But my point, like, he shouldn't be a 16-1 shot. You can basically get 3-1 for him finishing in the places at the moment. It's like 7-2, something like, so it's a decent price. But still, yeah, I liked it. I like what I
No,
see.
fair enough. And he's definitely a trip far too short. for him, given what he's done. In fact, throughout his career, really, he was kind of campaigned over two far too frequently. Even when he won the Martin Pipe, didn't he? And then was being reverted back to 2 miles, even though he won, I think, at one of the earlier meetings at Cheltenham. The final race, this sounds bad. I couldn't care less about any of these that ran. I don't think there's any view to them winning later in the season. I was really happy to be on Jello when he won earlier in the season in the Holden Gold Cup. I was obviously tipped at a nice Ante-Post price. He beat Edwardstone, and behind was Hitman, and then Boomborn, another one in the same colours as Fortune de Mer, Country Mile, and others. Keep these on your radar. Money Garrow, keep these on your radar. And Saint Sam pulled up. Do you care more than me, Joe?
Yeah, I do, especially after having a good bet on Saint Sam. Yeah.
That's it.
Nothing else. Just
Fair enough.
Good. He was good. Galloped, jumped. Good. Nice contender for the King George, probably too, but probably be a little bit short class wise.
God, he'd be lapped in the King George.
Yeah, but he deserves to line up, though. You know,
he deserves to line up. I totally agree with you there. But oh God, no, he'd be lapped in the King George.
And it's nice that Venetia's got a decent horse coming through rather than Royal Pagaille going out and L'Empresse sort of, running this week at Cheltenham. That should be great to see.
65 lengths by Factive File in the Grade 1 and the Ryanair, and 36 lengths by Gaelic Warrior. God,
yeah.
An entry last year. No.
Couldn't back him.
No. Look,
they can be a bit boom or bust, though, can't they, from that yard, Jay? That's not indicative of his best performance, is it? That's
he's
one run.
He's an Admiral Grade 2 horse, and wouldn't you love to own him?
Yeah. No, good point. Well made. So on that note, then, as we've covered off pretty much everything from the weekend. So, lads, before obviously we depart, Joe, your performance of the weekend, who did that come from?
Etait Temps, awesome. Etait Temps was the best of the weekend, and then Majborough was the worst of the weekend.
There you are. There's your best and worst. Jamie, what's your best performance and worst performance of the weekend?
Worst performance was Cargis, and best performance, I really like Hurricane Patch. He looked good on my eye.
There we are. And mine would be Lulamba. I was really taken. I had to eat humble pie, and I completely agree that Majborough was pretty poor, as was the price he got pushed out to, unfortunately. Let us know in the comments what your best performance was of the weekend, and also your worst. Why not? Please like and subscribe, as always. You do really appreciate it. And obviously your comments below if you want to interact with us. Joe tries to respond to each and every one of them. We'll be back later in the week along with a guest for our weekend preview, Cheltenham December meeting. So we'll see you all again then.